Welcome back to the Pursuit of Accuracy. I'm Josh, and today we're going to be doing a little experiment subjecting some 22 long rifle ammunition to both the hot and the cold to see what happens over a muzzle velocity and on target. And yes, I am sick, that's why my voice sounds weird, but let's get straight to the video. We're going to chuck some ammunition in the freezer, we're going to throw some out on a fence post to get heated up by some sun, and we're going to shoot a control group. We're going to do it all with the same ammunition. And let's start right now. So we are using the same exact lot of Ely match for this. This is a lot that we haven't shot through this rifle, and we have our control ammo, which is sitting in the shade, nice and medium temperature here. So a good control group. We are going to fire up our scope cam so that you guys can see that target down range. You guys can see the chronograph, and you guys can see me. And we're trying to keep this as scientific as we can using a freezer in the sunlight, but let's get to it. We're going to shoot the top left, and that is our normal temp line. All right, so that is 10 through what will be our control group. Let's check the velocities. So there it looks like we had an average of 11.19. We had a high of 11.44, low of 11.01. So far cry from what the box says, which is 10.51, which is usually the case with 22. But we had a standard deviation of 10.6, which is not bad, but not something I would pick for this barrel if I were actually lot testing, with an extreme spread of 43. But the big takeaway here is roughly 1120 feet per second muzzle velocity on the ammunition that was chilling out in the shade. We're going to let the hot rounds soak a little bit more in the sun, but what we're going to do is I'm going to grab the rounds out of the freezer. They've been in there for about 10 minutes now. That should have them fairly cool. We're going to take them right out here. I'm going to leave everything running, and we're going to shoot those, and we're going to see what changes. All right, so I literally grabbed these straight out of the freezer, and you can see how nice and frosty that these are. These are probably somewhere around 30 degrees. So let's put them in the gun. Let's check it out. Straight into the breech. We're going to drop a line to our cold line. We're going to see what happens. All right, so that was our freezer ammo. The mag is still cold, and let's see what happened to our muzzle velocity. So we had a low of 11.02, high of 11.21. The SD dropped considerably, and the ES. We're at about 5.9 SD and an ES of 19, which is literally half of what we just shot. And the average was 11.10. So 10 feet per second, probably not a big deal there. On to the next one. Let's go grab the ones that have been soaking in the sun. Let's see what they do. All right, we got the sun-soaked rounds here, and this mag is quite hot. I think this would be very indicative of you're shooting a match and you leave your ammunition out and it's kind of roasting in the sun. It is hot to the touch for sure, but let's see if it makes any difference. Ooh, kind of a flyer there. Definitely sounded faster, sounded a little hotter, no pun intended. So here we had a low of 1120, a high of 1132, and an average of 1126. So the hotter ammo was a little bit faster, the colder ammo was a little bit slower, and the control ammo was kind of right in the middle. Okay, so after having grabbed the target, we can kind of take a better look at this, and I will put a still image of this right over here so you guys can see it a little bit better. But the normal control ammo, you can see here, shot fairly well. Again, this is a random lot of Ely match. I probably wouldn't pick this to shoot out of this gun in competition based on the SD and ES and its overall performance, but we can tell from this target that the control ammo did fairly well, and the cold ammo didn't seem to really have that much of an impact. It actually improved the SD and ES, and the groups pretty much look the same. Maybe a little bit better, but you know, overall, it's still grouping and the point of impact is pretty consistent. Now, when we got to the hot ammo, the one that had been sitting in the sun for maybe 20 or 30 minutes, enough to make it hot, you can see that the velocity went up, but more importantly than that, is it wanted to start throwing flyers. Now this is the exact same lot of ammunition. You see here, there's really no propensity for this to throw flyers, but when we got that ammo in the sun, we definitely saw in each one of these two groups that there was a flyer. Now overall, I don't think that that was as conclusive as I thought it was going to be. I thought there was going to be a much bigger difference. Now what we will do is create a second video after some time, and I'm going to compare Lapua, SK, and Ely to see which one is more temperature sensitive. Now I thought the Ely would be more temperature sensitive, and I thought we would get bigger velocity swings, so I'm curious to see now on the next one if Lapua or SK does have more velocity, more powder sensitivity to heat and cold than the Ely, because that did surprise me how close that was. I appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you on the next one.